Oh, Latasha, can we talk for a minute? So, Latasha Scott is still doing interviews about the SWV and Escape show. And now she is blaming Mona Scott Young and production for all of her troubles, as well as throwing Candace's name in the mix for some of her problems with her group. And so, of course, we have Tammy Roman giving the I wish I could have heard her say this, okay? Because it's a read, but it's a polite read, but it is a read, okay? So we're going to talk about both of those things. Let's tap into it. Our friends over at the Neighborhood Talk happened to catch an interview that Latasha did with Kendra G from WGCI. Okay, 107.5. All right, so the headline reads Latasha blames Mona Scott Young and production as the reason she was dragged every week for Queens of R&B show. Shame on her. Okay, she blaming Mona this time. This time it's Mona. It is everybody else's fault but hers. Okay, anyway. So let's get into it. So Kendra asked, would you do another? Is there going to be another season or a part two of this reality TV show? So Latasha says it's not going to be a part two for me. Miss me with that one. She says it's not going to be a part two for me. When you come and you say two super groups that's going to be celebrated and it does not end that way, like you got everybody beefing on social media, girl, nobody made y'all beef on social media. Y'all are grown adults, okay? Y'all are grown adults. We are just watching, okay? We just have questions about where this $30,000 is, okay? Plus some, allegedly, as well as were there kickbacks or not. Why you didn't tell your group mates that you was going to go and sign your gospel deal, okay? And why you showed up to scenes acting like you barely ever wanted to be there. Okay. Those are the questions that we have. Those were the issues that we wanted to know about, as well as the fact that you have a husband who is, let's just say there are women who are out there who are claiming to be with this man or have been with this man. So these are the allegations that are out there about your husband that are also leading into this. Also, you're doing a lot of interviews where you guys are providing us with questionable information. Like we have questions about the information that you are providing for us. And so that is why, okay, that is what is happening. Y'all beefing in the media ain't got nothing to do with us, okay? And it ain't actually got nothing to do with Mona Scott Young, nor does it have anything to do with production. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, let me put the badge up here because y'all know. You already know. Okay, anyway. So then she says the nerve. Oh, black production company with Mona Me coming in and not celebrating black women. My thing is this. If Mona Scott gives you an opportunity to tell your story and you show up to a scene and you're mute, then what can she do with that? Okay. Tell your story or not tell your story. But when you decide that you are going to sign up to do this type of reality TV show, you have to know that it is going to come with some level of conflict. Have you not seen the shows? Have you not seen the Lemon Hip Hops? Have you not seen Escape still kicking it? Okay, were you not there? Weren't you not a part of R&B Divas? Oh, I forgot you were barely present there either. Okay, anyway. So then she says, it's the whole tearing down, and the whole time out of 7 women, I was being attacked every day. Girl. you know why you was in the news every day. Anyway, she says, so it's just that thing for me. Like when you say you're going to do something, we should be able to do it. I think the fans have been slighted, and shame on her, meaning Mona, and shame on production for doing that. We didn't get to tour. We didn't get to the music. I would beg to differ. You got to the music. You were on film singing your songs from your album. We saw you getting to the music when you were signing your record deal, when you went and signed that deal and had that meeting behind your group's back. We saw you performing on stage at the end of the show as well. Now, as far as a tour, they are all on tour. Xscape is on tour right now. SWV is going on tour with Jodeci. Everybody else got to the tour. Now, this also goes into what Kandi has said on her Speak On It about the group being for them, having the understanding that they were going into this with the idea that there was going to be a tour for this and not just one date, okay? Which seemed to be a very different expectation that SWV had. No, I don't know if it was sold to them differently. All I know is what we were told, okay, by Kandi, I think, and Tiny as well. So there is that. Now we have Latasha seemingly confirming that there was supposed to be this idea of a tour. But based on this tour, it sounded to me like you didn't even have time to be on tour with them while you were filming the show. So now you're claiming that you were thinking that there was going to be some type of tour. How, Sway? How was you going to have time? You didn't even want to tour with them then. So why would you want to tour with them moving forward? Make it make sense to me, Mom. Make it make sense to me, Mama. So then she says, so did I have reservations? Of course I did. But when she started to say, meaning Mona, hey, we're going to celebrate y'all. Y'all going to do a tour. We're going to talk about how you show how you got to do wardrobe and the music. And Latasha was like, I'm like, that's beautiful because you do sometimes have that back and forth banter. But when you come in and I'm being attacked every day and they never got to the music, it's like, what is all this about? And none of these things happened until we started filming. That's also not true because if we take things back to episode 1, okay, y'all were basically coming off an incident back in Las Vegas where Kandi and Tamika got locked out of their dressing rooms. And then when Tamika went off via text message, you told her allegedly something about kissing a butt or whatever like that. And then she responded, if you had a butt to kiss or whatever like that. And you said she was body shaming you or whatever like that. Or did you miss episode 1? Because my sentiment is that you might have been looking at episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with these glasses on. Now, what you guys will notice is I can barely see anything with these glasses on. Why? Because there's so much reflection here as well as fur. There is hardly room for me to see. So my thought is maybe that is how Latasha is looking at the world right now, through these glasses. And if that is the case, Mama, I definitely can understand why it is that you cannot see that you might be the problem. Meanwhile, she continued as I read my transcript. All right. She says, so it's like, was it a setup? A setup? You mean a scheme that Todd set up? Is that what you're saying? Mona, is you setting up these girls? She's like, what do we do this for? So then in another clip, I guess it's kind of like put together. She says, I'm definitely a part of Xscape. I created the name. It's the mothership. Yeah, where I come from. I will never forget where I came from. But, it's time for me to do music. I've always wanted to do music. I know Kandi didn't want to do music because she always felt like if we didn't surpass what we did in the beginning, then don't do it. Here we go with the Kandi again. It's like, girl, I don't hear not one mention of your gospel album or single in this conversation, okay? And you can somehow manage to throw in Kandi at how, Sway, how? So then she goes on to say, Kandi says if they couldn't surpass where they were in the beginning, then don't do it. She says, but when I'm doing music, it's never predicated on sales because I'm passionate about what I do. Basically, kind of insinuating allegedly that Kandi's only interested in the coin. Okay, and people don't work for free, and the rent is always due. Anyway, she then goes to say, so the other girls is like, we gonna fall victim to what Kandi said. the whole idea of we gonna fall victim, okay, the other girls allegedly admitting we gonna fall victim to what Kandi said, it insinuates that Kandi is some master manipulator, pulling this lady's strings from behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she just in the background, just making everything happen. Like the other girls are just sock puppets. Based on what I saw, I know, okay, for 100% for certain that Tamika is definitely nobody's sock puppet, because she was not sock puppeting you when she was telling you she could still call the police. Okay. So anyway, she says, I just want to do music. That's what I mean. So our good girlfriend, Tammy Roman. Okay. Now, Tammy Roman don't step out the house that much. But when she does, sis got some things to say. Okay. And I need to read it to you because, baby, it's verbatim. I mean, it's the shot of adrenaline. Okay, it's a shot of adrenaline that Latasha really needs to hear. So let's get into it. Tammy says, at some point you have to step back and say, 1, I'm sorry. 2, and ain't that the truth? Okay, girl, have you at one point? I felt like she said it in that crying video, but now it just sounds like she back to her old antics, not addressing anything that was alleged. And for some reason now everybody else is to blame. Anyway, 2, she says, my sister didn't know about the checks. I was in a tight. My husband set up a hustle and I didn't oppose. Okay. No. I mean, listen, again, all alleged because that's what we gotta say. And all this is for entertainment purposes. But based on what Tammy's saying, I mean, this sounds like a good response. Okay. So then Tammy says, I can make payments to pay. I can make payments to pay you back. That would, I mean, it sounded like in the interview on Cocktails with Queens that she would pay her the $30,000, and I felt like Tamika asked in that receipts video, well, where they at? You wanted the receipts? I done gave you the receipts. Now run me the money, okay? So then, Tammy says, number 4, I really don't like Kandi, and she don't care for me, and that's okay. But we made history together, and I'm professional enough to make this bread now. I mean, that would require her to be able to go back to the group at some point in time. But I know Kandi has said she don't want to sing with her no more. So, I mean, what it is though? What's up? Number 5, I did the show to use as a platform for my solo project. I've seen Love and Hip Hop. I knew what time it was. Okay, thank you. Tammy is spitting the facts, as they say. Okay. Because you didn't sing Love and Hip Hop. All right. So you know what's up. What it is, though. What's up? All right. So then she says, my husband cheated and I'm going to stick beside him. Listen, enough said on that one. Enough said on that one. You know what, on that one? Ain't nothing wrong with it. I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. Okay. And I'm sorry, we need to be singing the gospels. Anyway, 7, God blessed me with Xscape. So I'm going to honor that journey. A compromise for me is I won't sing on the overtly sexualized songs, but Who Can I Run To is okay. Now, that would also be something interesting, because if you're going into the gospel arena, then how you going to dip and dive back into glorify the Lord and then go right into You're My Little Secret? How that's gonna work? Anyway, she then says, number 8, my gospel album title is Let He Without Sin. Now that would have been an appropriate listen, because at that point, I mean, come on now, who can cast a stone? Listen, okay, because you're all sinners in the hands of an angry God. Okay. Anyway, then she says, number 9, and this is probably the most poignant one. I'm going to stop doing interviews. Baby, I could end it on that note right there, because that right there, Tammy Roman, that was the word of the day. And with that, we are out.